Hello everyone, welcome back to Salesforce Textbook. In this video, we will explore about how to update existing records with survey data mappings. So here are the contents we will be discussing in this video, like updating records with survey data mappings, automating survey invitations for associated records, and personalize the survey by adding associated fields, and how to use subject and participant in flows. In our previous episode, we explored how survey data mappings can create new records like a case if a customer gives a low net promoter score, or a task under a contact if customer requiring servicing. Today, we are diving into how to update existing records like a case based on survey responses. We will show how to send a survey when a case is closed. Use customer feedback to update the case automatically. Provide merge fields to personalize the survey and explain why we use flows and specific settings like subject and participant. Here is a use case. When a case is marked as closed in Salesforce, we want to send a survey to the customer asking if they are happy with the support they received. Based on their responses, happy or unhappy, we will update the case with their feedback and changes its status if needed. Now, based on the response, like description, case comments, and status gets updated with survey data mappings depending on customers' responses. So, when a case is marked as closed, we will send a survey. In that, we ask two types of questions like a net promoter score for happy or unhappy, and a short text feedback question to add case comments. So, if they are happy, we keep the status as closed and update the case description to customer is happy, and add other feedback as case comments. And if they are unhappy, we update the case description to customer is not happy and their feedback as case comments, and we change the case status to escalated. So here is a survey response handling. We start by selecting a case and update the case status to closed. A feedback survey is sent to the associated contact. If the customer responds, we check if their response is positive or negative. If customer is happy, we keep the case closed and update the description and case comments with their positive feedback. If the customer is unhappy, we can set the case status to escalated with customer's feedback so the team can follow up actions. Now we are setting up a new flow that triggers whenever a case record is updated and automatically send out a survey once updated. In the previous episode, we have completed how to automate surveys when record is updated or created. We follow same steps here, like selecting the object and provide the entry conditions like when a case status is updated to closed, and adding survey actions. But we add new variable for survey subject to pass case ID. Like we pass the case ID which links the survey to the specific case. So survey is properly associated with the right record, like using triggering case record ID. Similarly, for participant, create a text variable for contact ID from triggering case record, like using triggering case record dot contact dot ID to send it to a case's contact. So in the survey action, for subject, we pass the case ID, and in recipient, we will pass the case's contact ID. Now here is a testing instruction, like pick an existing case, make sure the case has a contact linked to it, change the status to closed. This will trigger the flow we created. Survey is sent, like a survey email will be sent to the contact. Now customer fills the survey. If they choose not happy, the case status changes to escalated. If they choose happy, the status stays as closed with updated case comments and description. Now, once we log into our Salesforce, let us create a survey as survey data mapping update to create new survey to send it to a participant once a case is updated by providing thank you messages to the participant. Now, let us configure our welcome page. let us pass participants and associated record values using merge field variables. For that, click on this advanced settings and click on the merge field variables. Now for merge field access level, let's select ignore record level access. Now click on the object variables for merge fields. Now design this associated object and participant object. For associated object, we will be naming it as case and select the object as case from this available objects and click on save. Also for participant object, we can name the variable as contact or participant and search for the object as contact and click on save. Now let us go back to the builder and complete the welcome page. For that, click on the insert content and select the merge field from a participant record and click on next. Then we can search for the fields from the contact object. As we selected contact object in the participant merge field variables, search for name. Click on name and click on insert. Now let us pass the case details by adding merge fields from the associated record. So click here and click on the insert content. Click on merge field from an associated record and click on next. Here search for the case number and click on insert. Similarly, we can add additional information like created date and so on. Click here and click on insert content. Select merge field from an associated record and search for the created date. Then click on insert. Then we can pass the created date information here. So in this way, we will pass the personalized welcome page to the participant by passing case information to the participant. Now let us add a question in our survey. Set the question type as like or dislike type of questions, so that we will ask the customer how well did our customer representative handle your request, so that we will be asking a happy or unhappy type of question. For that, change the icon type as happy or unhappy. Based on the response, we will be having a following up with another question to capture happy and unhappy feedback responses. For that, we will be asking different question like short text type of question. So in short text type of question, we will be asking we are glad to hear a positive feedback type of question. This short text will be asked to participant if participant selects happy for the first question. For that, we will be using display logic. Select the question. Select the operator as equals to happy. Click on save logic. So this question will be asked if the participant selects happy for the first question. Similarly, let us also add another type of question of short text type for unhappy responses. So in this question, we will be asking we value your feedback and ask what could have been better to meet your needs. For this question also, we use same display logic, but for this time we will set the question if operator is equals to unhappy. So if customer is unhappy for the first question, we will be asking this type of question. After completing the question page, let us save the survey. Once the survey is saved, click on the survey data mapping from advanced settings. Now click on plus icon to add new survey data mapping. Now let us name the survey as update case if happy. Select the action type as update record. In the previous example, we have discussed about survey data mapping to create a record based on customer responses following the condition type. Now we will use update action satisfying the condition type. Select the target object as case object. Now let us define the target object fields and values. For that, select the field, click on the internal comments. Select the information type as response to question. Now for value, select the first short text positive response like we are glad to hear that, so we will be having this response. Also click on add row and search for the fields like description. Here we can also pass the string. We can enter the value as customer is happy. Similarly, we can also add multiple fields and select the information type and provide the value. Now, now select the condition type as based on condition, based on response to a question is happy. For that, click on response to question. Select the question like how well did our customer representative handle your requirements is equals to happy. So if the condition satisfies, then survey data mapping gets updated based on the target object fields and its values. Now let us save the survey data mapping and go back to the builder. Click on save and go back to the builder. Now add another survey data mapping following similar steps, but only change is when customer is unhappy. Click on add data map, name the survey as unhappy. So we'll follow the same steps to update the record, and the only change is if the customer is unhappy. For that, select the logic type as response to question, say the question is unhappy. So if the customer response is unhappy for the first question, we will define to update with another values. For that, search for the field internal comments. This time we will use a response to question. The second unhappy short text question response, like we value your feedback, please share how we can improve. Also add another row as description. We will pass a string as customer is not happy. Also we can add another row like status. Search for status. We will define as escalated again. So if the customer is not happy, we will update the target object fields and its values. Let us save this survey data mapping and let us go back to the builder. Now let us save our survey, but to test the survey we can't directly send it from here on activating the survey, because surveys are always sent to individuals. In Salesforce, surveys needs to go to a person like contacts, leads or users, but a case is just a record, not someone who can answer a survey. That's why we use a flow to automate sending the surveys to the contact when the case is updated to close. This setup ensures feedback is tied to the right case and sent to the right person. For that, we use two important fields like participant ID and subject ID. Firstly, let us activate our survey and follow same steps from previous episode. Now click on flows to create a new flow. Follow the same steps from the previous episode that we covered how to automate surveys invitations using flows based on participant responses. Follow the same steps like select the record triggered flow. Let us start by creating a record triggered flow, then triggering object like select the object as case, like we will send whenever a record like case is updated. Select the entry conditions as status is equals to closed. This ensures flows only runs when a case moves to closed, which is typically the best moment to request feedback. Now click on add element and search for the survey which we created recently. Provide the label name for the survey. Now here's what new compared to last flow. We will be introduced to survey value to pass a case ID into the survey action. This case ID acts as a subject in the survey invitation, linking the survey directly to the specific case. For that, let us add new resource. Set the resource type as variable, name it as survey subject, and set the data type as text. Set the default value as, select the triggering record, pass the case ID. Set the case ID. So we will be passing triggering case ID and click on done. Similarly, for recipient type, select the contact, Similarly, add a variable as participant for whom the survey needs to be sent. For that, select the resource type as variable, name it as participant, select the data type as text. Now let us define the value as triggering case, contact ID, then pass the ID of the contact. So we will be passing triggering cases contact ID. Click on done. So for participant, we will be passing the contact ID, the person receiving the survey, and for subject, we will be passing the case ID, the record we are collecting feedback on. Let us also configure the survey invitation settings like make it as unique link and doesn't require authentication. Now let us save our flow and activate our flow. Name it as survey. Let us save and activate our flow. Now to test this survey, let us update a case record to close it. So let us edit this case, update the status to close it, click on save. Now click on related. So we can see that under survey invitations and responses, we can see that a survey is sent to the participant. Click on the survey invitation record, we will be seeing the participant information. And if you don't find survey invitations and responses, just go to case object page layout, under related list, drag and drop the survey invitations and responses. Now let us open our survey link from here. So in the survey, we can see the personalized message like by passing the contact information from participant merge field variables and also the associated merge field variables by passing like case number and created date. We can see the created date as 5th August. 5th August. Now click on next. Let us complete the survey. Let us provide the survey as happy. Then we will be asking glad to hear that. And if we select unhappy, we will be asking another type of question like what could have been better to your needs. Firstly, let us select happy feedback and provide the valuable information like good service by Salesforce. Click on finish. Now let us open our case if fields are updated. So we can see that case comments. So case comments has added and the description is updated. Similarly, let us update again. Similarly, let us update the case again to close it. Now another survey should be sent. So let us open our survey. Even this survey will also be sent to the customer, same customer. Now we can see that the survey is closed again. So we can see that in the welcome page, the participant details and the case number and the created date information. Let us click on next and select unhappy response. Select the feedback as bad service. Now click on finish. Let us refresh. Let us refresh our case and we will see that the case should be updated. Like you can see that status is escalated just now with customer is not happy. So in this way, we use survey data mapping to update a record by passing the fields that we want to update and use a flow to send it to a participant once a associated case is updated following the entry conditions. So in this way, we can update existing case records using survey data mapping to update records. And here are some of the references for survey data mapping to update records based on the responses, and how to automate surveys invitations using flows. Please subscribe to Salesforce Textbook. Thank you.